Well, hey everyone, I hope you're doing super well. You know what today is? Today is a plant chores day. Yay! Let's just get to it. All right, so what I have here are two of my Philodendron billietiae cuttings that I have had water propagating for about a month and a half, 2 months now, and they have grown some really healthy, nice, long roots. This plant comes from my mother plant that I chopped up over a year ago, and boy, oh boy, that was one of my favorite plants, but it just got too large, and I ran out of space for it, so I have since chopped up and propagated several of these billietiae cuttings. I believe the longest leaf cutting that is now already sprouting out its own new leaves, several of them in fact, is a little over 2 feet long. These are such beautiful plants, climbing philodendron, and they really add that tropical vibe to any atmosphere and fairly easy to care for, I have to say. They like bright indirect light. They like a good watering, but they like a nice little dry out period in between. I mean, there were times where I'd forget to water them for 2 weeks. They still look like they were thriving. But yeah, these are the two of the last cuttings that I still have to pot up. And so what I did was I went and purchased two plastic containers so I can keep an eye on the root growth. I have my chunky aroid soil mix, which down in the information below, you'll see what ingredients are in that. It's perfect for aroids like philodendron. They fall under the Araceae family. And then I also, when I was at a plant shop recently, they had this great clearance sale because with everything being so close to Christmas, they were trying to get rid of as much holiday stuff as they possibly could, and they had these little tins that had the words "joy" on the front of them and like "Merry" in like bronze, but you could easily peel them off. And I just love the way these look, and it goes with the aesthetic style of my urban jungle here in downtown Denver, Colorado, USA. And what's nice is that these pots fit right into them, so it'll just be like a cover. But first things first, we are going to start by potting up. Let's start with this guy. He has by far the longest roots, and this one grew in like a month and a half. I mean, when you take a look at those roots, that thing is about 8 inches long, and it also grew a bunch of little sub roots off of its side there. So that one is golden and ready to go. In fact, the only thing I'm going to do really quickly is just wash it off. Okay, so just wash it off. I'm going to put it back in for a moment. The leaves can use a little good cleaning too. Can't tell the dust buildup that has gone on there, so I'll make sure to do that as well. And that's important because we want the plant to be able to photosynthesize easily, and also, if there are any pests on those leaves, you can just wipe them off, but they're cutting, so no pest problem there. What we're going to do first is we are going to, I love using, by the way, these little trays that you can get at like plant stores too. Usually when you buy a couple plants, they put them on this. They're just so nice to be able to like put soil in and move around. So first things first, we are going to take our chunky aroid soil mix. We're going to put down a nice little base layer like so. There we go. And then from there, actually I probably won't need to use this. Then from there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out our cutting, and I'm going to position it in a way that I want it to be in there, and the root as well. We're going to string this along there and try not to touch it as much as I can. Remember, the roots of these plants are like the brains, and you don't want to mess with them too much. But now I'm going to take some of my handy dandy rooting hormone powder, which just kind of like enhances the growth, and it's kind of like an added layer of security. I do it every single time with cuttings, and I'll tell you, I've never had like an issue. So I swear by it at least. Whether it works, I don't know, but you know what? I believe in it. I believe in it. Okay, so then all we're going to do is we're just going to fill around the sides like so. And I don't want to dig too deep in there because eventually, it's going to have a new growth point that'll pop out. and I want to give it plenty of space where it doesn't have to climb up through too much soil, you know. But I do want to make sure that there is enough soil in there for those roots to climb around in. These billietiaes are very fast growing plants when given the right conditions, even during like the off season. So it's very important and crucial that you uh, make sure that they have room, because that root in there will get massive. Okay, so we've got one down. Let's see how it'll look in its cute little tin here. Ah, lovely, lovely indeed. These might actually go as gifts to people, because I already have too many billietiaes to begin with. Just gonna put a little bit more in there for stability around the stem. And cool. Now all it has to do is be watered, and she will be golden. Okay, our next one is this guy, who actually is growing a growth point already. And the growth point is that little red point that you see right there. That's where a new leaf will form. And this one has two leaves on it, so much more promising, and will likely grow a lot faster because it'll be able to collect more energy with the amount of photosynthesizing that it'll be able to do. But I'm going to wash these off real quick, and I'll be right back. And I'm back. Okay, so same process like before. And I don't know if I told you, but those tins that they were on sale, got those on sale. I kid you not. They're 50 cents a piece. So I bought as many as they had, which was like about 10 of them. And really glad that I did. Okay, so I want to try to position this root in a way that isn't going to try to go up. So if I do it like that, we should be good. Cool. Okay, tuck that down. Use some of my rooting hormone powder in here. And yeah, I would honestly say if you're looking to get into rare plants, one that I would suggest highly is the Philodendron billietiae, just because it is so easy. And it was pretty much, I think, one of my first rare plants, and hands down one of my favorite plants, not just in the Philodendron genus, but just in general, because they're so cool, and really they catch people's attention because their leaves get so massive, and they just provide that unique jungle vibe. They used to cost a ton of money, and they're still pretty pricey. But I will say that you're starting to see them come down a little bit in price. I've seen little ones on sale, like not as large as these ones, but little ones on sale for like 50, $60, whereas they would cost in the past a couple hundred. When I bought my little baby one early on in the pandemic, I think I paid like $500 for it. And at the time, I would not spend money like that on a plant now, but I will say it was worth every penny, because it's a plant that has brought me so much joy and happiness, and I truly do love it. So look at that. We've got two new billies. And what's nice is that with these clear pots, you can keep an eye on the root growth. Right where that white trail line is there, that's our rooting hormone powder, and that's where the root is. So be able to take them out of their tins and be able to see how they're doing. I'm going to give these guys a quick watering, and then we're going to clean off the leaves of one of my gloriosum cuttings. All right, so this is the Philodendron gloriosum cutting that we're going to clean off its leaves. I just gave it a nice watering, one of my favorite philodendrons, and another easy to care for plant, rare plant, I should say. This is another one of the cuttings right here, and look at how big of a leaf that ballooned into. That's its newest leaf. This is this cutting's first new leaf that has come out, and it's looking rather quite lovely. It's still trying to form itself, but I absolutely love cleaning off plants' leaves, because it is so relaxing, and it's so good for the plants. Like I was saying, that it really helps them photosynthesize, because think about the amount of dust that builds up in our homes on like a weekly basis, that just cakes up on everything, including our plants. And when our plants are blocked with dust, they're not taking in as much sunlight as they can, which they need to in order to grow and grow stronger and healthier. But also, like I was mentioning earlier, the other added benefit of cleaning off your plant's leaves is the fact that if this plant has any pests, we're just washing them off and getting in the habit of doing this on a regular basis. I like to do it at least once every 2 weeks, sometimes every week. It really will help cut down on pests coming back, knowing that, this is something where if I go onto this leaf, I'm just going to get killed off, which they should. But yeah, and you have to be, very, very careful with afterwards with cleaning off a plant like this. If you've never seen a Philodendron gloriosum before, their leaves are very velvety, and you don't want the water that you're wiping them off with to stick on there afterwards. You want it to dry off, because what happens is you end up getting some like bleach or sunspots on it. And the reason why like this leaf and this leaf back here look so bad is because those were the original leaves that were on the cutting, and they're on their last legs. In fact, the plant behind me right there, its first two leaves that were in the cutting have actually already died off, and just so they can conserve that energy and preserve it for the new leaves that came out, which obviously came out looking really beautiful. But as long as these leaves continue to look somewhat healthy and not like super yellow or super brown, I'll continue to keep them on here, because what they're doing is they're still collecting sunlight, they're photosynthesizing, and they're producing energy to produce new leaves, which overall just helps the plant as a whole. Even though they might not be the prettiest leaves, I still think they're pretty, and I really love them. Yeah, the Philodendron gloriosum. I got this around the same time that I got the Philodendron billietiae, and so much fun to care for. And I was surprised. I thought that this plant would be a pain in the butt, but it's not. In fact, it's one of those plants where you don't even need like an insane amount of high humidity. They do pretty well in regular conditions. And what I'm wiping them off with is a simple solution, and something that pretty much all of us have in our homes is just warm water, a little bit of dish soap, and a splash of hydrogen peroxide, 3%. And so that in itself will be good enough to not only clean off the leaves, but help kill off any pests that might be on there. And I'm trying to be very cautious with this new leaf because it's still forming, and I don't want to disrupt it by doing this, but I also want to make sure that it's going to be clean and good. It's going to be a beautiful new leaf. And sometimes, like when you have a cutting, the first new leaf that comes out always comes out a little funky, and maybe just shaped differently or really small. But you have to keep in mind that that's just the first leaf that this thing has produced. So this will be really, really nice to see once it grows out. And I've been giving these away as gifts to friends as well, who've always liked them when they visit my jungle. But I'm curious, do you guys have any Philodendron gloriosum or any other crawling philodendron? And if so, let me know in the comments below. Which one's your favorite? What has your situation with it been like? Have you found them to be rather easy? Do you have any tips or tricks that you can share with me and I can share with others? Because I would love to know. Always looking for more plant advice from you folks out in the community, because you guys are so knowledgeable. Let's see. Oh, it's looking lovely already. And it's funny when I look at like the little tissue paper afterwards, the paper towel. It does have dust on it. I haven't cleaned this one's leaves off, and gosh, I think like maybe over a month and a half or so. So it's really time, and I'm glad I'm getting to it now. And I just got done cleaning off the philodendron over here, its leaves, and mamie, and it looks really pretty, and it's got a new leaf coming out right now too. It's another crawling philodendron like our gloriosum here. And so there we go. We have a clean plant, and we have two new Philodendron billietiae. So there we have it, guys. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. And if you haven't already, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification button for more fun planty content like this. And also make sure to check out my new website, plantswithkevin.com, because it's there where I post all of my articles, DIY, urban jungle design, home hacks, things that I don't have the time to necessarily put on YouTube all the time. So that is the hub where you'll find all this good content and so much more. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.